Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be how to replace a standard 40-gallon electric hot water heater. This is a residential hot water heater in my house, and as you can see from down here, there's some moisture that's accumulated, and you can kind of see the rust that's coming through the bottom there. That tank is shot. This water heater is about 11 years old, and it's time for a replacement. So I'll spare you the backstory. Let's get right to it. A couple of things I want to note right off the bat. If you are not an electrician, or if you are not comfortable working around electricity, I advise you to call a plumber. Right now, don't even bother watching the rest of the video. Just call a professional, have them come out and do it. They're professionals for a reason. If you do feel comfortable about doing a DIY project, understand two things. You're going to be working around 240 volts of electricity, and you're going to be dealing with plumbing, hot water side and cold water side. So keep those things in mind before you proceed. Now, for those of you that are feeling ambitious and want to do this, it's not hard. It's very easy. This is literally all you have to do. You're looking at everything that you need to work on right here. So first step in this is to understand what types of pipes you're working with. You'll notice that these pipes are off-white in color, almost yellowish. So this is white, that's yellowish. Those are CPVC pipes. And those are not the same as traditional PVC pipes. CPVC is for potable drinking water, as you can see right there, drinking water. These happen to be 3/4 inch CPVC pipes. You can see 3/4 right there. And if you go to the big box store and buy your plumbing fittings and you're buying PVC, 3/4 inch PVC will not work with 3/4 inch CPVC. Their wall thicknesses are different and they won't work. So a couple of things right off the bat. When you're buying pipes for this, observe if you have PVC or CPVC, get the proper fittings, and you'll see the fittings that I'm using as I go. So the first thing you're going to want to do is shut off the electricity. Over here to the breaker box. Water heater is 8 and 6 on my panel. So if I look over here, 8 and 6, shut that off. Go over to your main water supply, whether you're on city water or on well water. I happen to be on well water. And right here, you're going to shut off water supply to the house so no new water will flow into the system. Come down here to the bottom of the water heater and you're going to see a little tap, little spigot. You're going to have to drain the water heater down. So connect a regular garden hose like I have here to this spigot. Once you have the hose connected here, you're going to open up the tap by putting a screwdriver. You're going to stick a screwdriver right in there like that and loosen it up, and water will start to flow out. You can hear it running. Couple of turns there. There you can see the water running out. I'm going to go stick this in one of my rain barrels so I don't waste this water. Okay, while that's draining, open up your tap. Make sure that no hot water is going to flow through here. That'll get all the pressure out of the line. Move it over to hot and cold. Just get all the water out of the lines. Okay, you can see that the faucet is on and nothing's coming out of the hot side, so we know that there's no pressure on that side. Still got a little bit of water in the cold side. Now that the water is draining, this is a perfect time to disconnect your electrical connection. Phillips head screwdriver takes apart the guards. And you'll notice here in my other hand I have a circuit tester. Pick one of these up before you do your project. It will give you the peace of mind that the electrical connections are not on. So the way this works, just turn it on. And basically what it'll do is it'll tell you if something's hot. So when I hold it over here, if this was a hot connection, it would be beeping red. Same for over here, it would be beeping red. Let me show you what I mean. So if I come over here to a plug that I know is hot and I just get this in the vicinity of it, see how that tells me that that's hot? So green is ground, red is hot. With the water heater box on its side, take a look at the box. It says right here how to get it out of the box. There's the cut line. So you're just going to make a cut all the way around and then stand it back up and then lift the box off of the water heater. Okay, here is the new A.O. Smith water heater. Right off the bat, I noticed it has a plastic shutoff valve. And what I'm doing right now is just verifying that the connections are all similar to what I currently have. It's now time to start disconnecting this. So first thing I'm going to disconnect is the electricity. And again, we have our breaker off. I'm going to take the first wire nut off of here. Got some corrosion going on in here too. And before you touch that, hold that next to it. You know it's not hot. Green is good, red is bad. Again, on this side, got a lot of corrosion in here. These may need to be cut. Yeah, rusty wires. Not cool. Also not hot. So now you know you're safe to work in this area. Take that, kind of move it out of the way. Take these and move them out of the way. And move on to the plumbing lines. Before you start this job, make sure you get a nice pipe cutter. This is a ratcheting pipe cutter. This one happens to be made by Brasscraft. Rigid makes a good one. Lennox makes a good one. There's a bunch of good ones out there. Make sure you got one with a good sharp blade on it. This one's not been used too much. And I'm gonna allow myself maximum working room. So I'm gonna cut as close to this fitting as possible because these don't unscrew. This is affixed to this fitting, so you have to make a cut. Then you'll get some leakage. It's coming out of here. So before you move yours out of the way, I want you to take a look back here. You see it says cold. So this is the cold water side. That says hot back here. This is the hot water side. So your new water heater is going to go in the same orientation. Don't cross those two together. And then that has seen way better days. That's pretty bad. You know, I always try to say work smarter, not harder. If you do have a hand truck in your garage, use a hand truck to move this around so you don't screw up your back. It's not that heavy, it's just awkward. You can roll them too. I'm leaving mine connected to the hose just because it's still got a little bit of water in the bottom of it. I'll let it all drain out into that rain barrel outside, but yeah, just use a hand truck if you can. I'm gonna pull this thing out of here now. It's freed up. You can see, disconnected. Before you put your new water heater back in the old spot, if yours is like mine, I need to clean a lot. So clean all that crap out of there, get all that moisture out of there first. You don't want that sitting on that metal tank. Alright, I dried this out as much as I could. I actually had one leftover tile in the garage that I just stuck down with some VersaBond. So that's where the new heater is going to set. And then this way I don't have to worry about the moisture of this garage floor. We're in Florida. This is on a mono slab in the garage. I don't have to worry about the moisture of this floor getting into that metal little layer of protection there. So I know it's not the most beautiful tile job. I'll go in here and paint. I actually kind of like the tray effect that this gives if this thing did leak. This way I don't have water all over the place in the garage. But one tile here just to kind of keep the moisture from coming into the bottom of the heater. You can also use a water heater pan if you don't have that, but definitely a good choice. So that's almost done drying. So I've slid the new water heater in place on top of that dried tile. It's pretty well set. I'd say it's walking set, 30 minutes-ish. Everything's in place nicely. And now basically what I'm doing is I'm aligning, trying to get my alignment perfectly for these existing fittings to be just perfect over the spouts or the inlet and outlet. So that's pretty much where I'm gonna like this one to sit. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure you picked up some Teflon tape, and you're gonna put Teflon tape on here, and you're gonna wrap it clockwise around the fittings. And the reason why we go clockwise is because when you're actually tightening on the fitting, it's not going to unravel the Teflon tape as you tighten on your fitting. And then to make sure it's seated on there, just give it a nice little light turn with your fingers to make sure it's on there nice. Another thing is to not let the Teflon tape wrap up above the fitting, where it can get into the water system and potentially cause somewhat of a clog. Just like that. To make the connection to the existing system, I'm going with these fittings that are CPVC. So it's one side is the female fitting to fit over the water heater inlets and outlets, and the other side is a 3/4 inch CPVC female to accommodate the CPVC male. So the way these are going to go on is just a simple turns clockwise, and do not cross thread these. They should start to thread nice and easy with just the lightest of touch. I like to snug mine up with my hand and then come back in with a plumbing wrench and then just give it a couple of nice snug turns like this. You don't want to go too tight. You will strip these off. You'll feel them back. You'll feel them kind of give you resistance when you're hand tightening them. Just like that. Now, if we take a look, that's almost perfect of a replacement. I don't even have to cut these pipes because this 50-gallon water heater is a little bit taller than the 40. So these are going to go in just like that. So let me show you what I'm using to glue them up and how to do it right. This is the traditional Odie Handy Pack. Comes with some all-purpose PVC cement, or for CPVC, note it right here, for CPVC, that's what you want to make sure you're using, and then some purple primer. So you're going to apply purple primer to the male and female sides, and then some cement to the male and female sides, and set them in. Putting paper towels here just in case this stuff drips. I don't want it to look ugly because that purple stuff gets on everything. So that'll hopefully protect it. Cement is a little hard to get loose, so if you have your wrench handy, you can give it a little loosen up. Now you see why I put the paper towels down. And hold. I like to hold for 30 seconds. Go back through, little paper towel and wipe. I like clean plumbing fittings, so I try to wipe off any excess I can just to make it look as neat as possible. And then be careful with the crap that got on the paper towels. Get rid of that. You know, this is an extra step, but if you care about, you know, a semi-clean job, take it. So now that's ready to be glued up. I'm sorry, cemented up. Get all that excess off of there. You don't want too much. And if you did it halfway neat, it's not too messy. You know, professional plumber will will walk all over that, I'm sure. But I'm not a plumber. I'm just a DIYer that happens to know some stuff. If you'll remember, my wires that were on the existing system were pretty janky looking. They're kind of corroded and crappy. So what I'm going to do, instead of cutting them and making new, I don't really need to do that. I've got some alcohol here, and I'm just going to give them a little cleaning. Okay, so now we need to make the electrical connection. I put some gloves on because I realized that scrape on my hand was just nasty to look at. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so I'm taking the electrical tap out of this existing plate, which has seen better days, and we're going to use the new stuff. So this is gonna, the neutral is gonna go down there on that green screw, if you could see it right here. So I'll take that out for now. And we're gonna connect up this connection first, the wire nuts. I'm gonna use some new wire nuts. Already tore my glove. Make sure those are nice and tight. And these nuts, actually, just to let you know, I know the camera's shaking, these nuts are 1/4 inch on these screws. hex heads. Before you're done, you need to attach your TMP relief valve downpipe. This is your TMP relief valve. This is a temperature and pressure relief valve. And you're going to need this fitting here. So this is basically the same thing as the fittings that we used up top, but this is actually a male threaded side with the female CPVC. So you're going to do Teflon tape on this as well in a clockwise fashion. So for this last step, you're going to attach your TMP relief pipe. This is going to be cut to fit. You need to use CPVC or something that will withstand at least 250 degrees. And this is actually going to be set up off the floor no more than 6 inches. So I'm going to get mine set now and glued up in place. Okay, I've glued this in place. I just realized that wasn't recording. Sorry about that. Simple primer and glue, just like we did on the top pipes in there. Try to keep everything nice and tidy, which this one was really good. You can just see a little bit there coming off. And I've left my label facing outward for the inspector so they can actually read and verify that it is the correct pipe. And you can see here that I'm right about 4.5 inches up off the ground, which is perfect. This is what the water heater should look like before you turn anything on. Make sure everything's tightened down. Make sure all your fittings are cured and dried at least an hour. I like to wait an hour on that stuff. Check your TMP valve, pipe. Make sure all of this is cured. Make sure everything looks good. Then before you turn your electricity on to your water heater, you want to fill the water heater up. So you're going to turn your water on first, let the water heater get full, then you can turn on the electric heating element. Let me go turn the water on now. Okay, I just turned the water on. You can hear my filters filling up. Back over here to the water heater, verifying that there are no leaks anywhere. Everything looks pretty good. You can hear the tank filling up. Oh, it goes without saying, make sure your shutoff valve is shut off too. I forgot to mention that before you turn the water on. Everything looks good. I'm going to watch this for a minute. The last step before you turn your water heater on is to set your temperature. Now I've taken this little panel off right here that was on the side up at the top, and also down here at the bottom. They have these little protective plastic shrouds, and you could take the shroud off. You just pull up here at the top and it'll pop right off like that. And now you can see your temperature dial right there. I'm going to set mine to 140. We like hot water. So in here, find your little dial. Go right to 140 there. Before you can turn the electric water heater on, you need to make sure that there's no air in the line. So I'm going to open up my taps to cold. Make sure all that air comes out and bring it over to hot. And what you need to do is let your system run for 3 full minutes with a full stream. If you look here in the instructions, it'll actually say that as well. Here we're on full hot, cold. We are now ready to turn the water heater on to see if it is working. So make sure you have your little tester in hand. Turn your breaker on. Close up your breaker. The reason why I wanted you to have this in your hand when you were doing your breaker is because the very next thing you want to do is come over to your water heater and bring this over to your water heater and make sure none of this has been electrified. This is how you, as a DIYer, are going to make sure that you don't electrocute yourself and put yourself in serious harm. This way, you know that when you put your plate back on here, you didn't accidentally electrify the water heater with the 220 that's in here. So now that this is showing me that this is green, I come around here also to the sides. I make sure I test different parts of the water heater. I just make sure that I did not electrify this thing whatsoever. Now, this is a step that some electricians or plumbers will skip, but this step right here could be the difference between you being safe or you going to the hospital if you did something wrong. So always check, make sure that nothing has become electrified, and then you can touch it and you know you're safe. So just wanted to make sure I put that in here. Okay, the final step was to just put the foam on, which you could see here. The water heater comes with this supplied foam here and here. And then I had these really cool steel straps. They're kind of like zip ties. I need to put 2 more on there. But I want to close up my video. Gives it the finished look. So it doesn't look very DIY. I think it looks pretty professional. Absolutely 0 leaks. The tile set nicely underneath it. We have our T&P valve set and to code. And everything is good. Wife was just using the hot water, says it's super hot, which is awesome. And I'm very happy with the way this came out. I just want to stress this again. If you guys are not comfortable working around electricity or plumbing, please call a professional plumber. There's professionals out there for a reason. They can definitely handle this for you, and you won't have to worry about any mishaps along the way. If you are going to approach this as a DIYer, please use caution. Please always make sure your breakers are off. I can't stress that enough. Double check that your water's off so you don't start a disaster wherever this thing is sitting. And be confident. If you guys are going to attempt something or attempt a project, be very confident. Keep a clean workspace. Go at it with the mentality that you are going to do it right and you're going to do a good job, and pretend like someone that you love is going to see it. Put some care into it if you're going to do it. If you're just going to do it to get through it, then just have a professional do it. Don't make another problem for somebody else down the line. So there it is, all installed, looking great. Very happy with it. Hopefully we'll have some hot water now. I don't have to worry about the bottom rusting out and going bad like the other one was. And yeah, if you guys like this video, please be sure and like it. I truly appreciate all the likes. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, so please subscribe. I promise you will learn something throughout the year if you subscribe. I upload videos all the time on my channel, and I try to make sure I do a good job at teaching you how to actually do stuff and not be so clickbaity. I really try to show something in all my videos. So thank you again for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll get you in the next video. Later.